I grew up in a simple family with lots of love and good friends. I was just an ordinary person with an ordinary life, nothing special in how I looked or in my school and sports achievements. But I feel lucky to have had good people around me, and maybe that's why I tend to trust others easily. Because of this, people often call me naive or say, I see the world in a dreamy way. This story is about my difficult relationship with my mother-in-law, who bullied me despite my trusting nature. My name is Julie. I'm 35 years old and work as a salesperson. My husband Scott and I got married a year ago, so I still feel like a newlywed. I used to say, let's have a baby, but honestly, I was enjoying our newlywed life too much to rush into that. Scott's parents live about 40 minutes away from our apartment. His mom, Olivia, often invited us over for dinner, and we'd have a family meal together once a month. Some of my friends worried that visiting the in-laws that often might be too much, but I didn't mind. Scott's dad, Samuel, was great to talk to, and Olivia was sweet. She preferred to work alone in the kitchen, so I was always treated like a guest. I would happily chat with Scott and Samuel until dinner was ready, which was easier than cooking at home. However, one thing started to bother me. One evening, we were at the in-laws' house for dinner again. When I tasted the chicken soup Olivia made, I couldn't help but react. What's wrong, Julie? Scott asked, noticing my expression. I've never had celery in chicken soup before, I replied. It's interesting, but it's delicious, Olivia. Is it? Thank you, there's plenty more, Olivia said. Oh, great, I responded, trying to hide my discomfort. I struggled to smile back at Olivia, who looked so happy. Another bowl of this soup would definitely raise my blood pressure. It was that salty. I glanced at Scott and Samuel, but they seemed to enjoy it. This must be the normal taste of home cooking for them. So, that day, I accepted it and forced myself to finish the soup, even though it was packed with so much sodium it could dissolve anything. It seems my in-laws like very strong flavors. Olivia's cooking was sometimes as salty as seawater and other times as sweet as condensed milk. The first time I tried it, I almost spit it out, but the rest of the family ate it like it was any other meal. I was shocked by their taste preferences. I felt bad leaving food uneaten, so I usually finished it, but it was too much for my stomach and I often felt sick afterward. I started to worry about the impact of eating such intensely flavored food on their health. I even talked to a friend who's a nutritionist and started collecting recipes and pamphlets. But as a new daughter-in-law, I couldn't exactly say, your cooking is too strong. Please change the recipes. My own cooking was seasoned exactly according to the recipes, and I thought Scott would like it. I used to ask him all the time, is it good? And he would always reply sweetly, whatever you cook is delicious. But I couldn't help but doubt if he was being honest, especially if he grew up eating such strong flavors. Still, I prioritized our health and continued cooking with normal seasonings. There was one more thing that worried me. Olivia sometimes served salad or bread that was dry and hard. Occasionally, she'd serve partially rotten fruit for dessert. I would quietly remove the bad parts, but I was concerned that my in-laws might get food poisoning sooner or later. One day, Olivia offered me some cookies as a snack. They had expired 5 months ago. Scott noticed and said, Mom, these cookies are expired. Olivia replied, Oh no, I'm so careless, and laughed it off. I was relieved at first, but then I was alarmed when I found the same box of expired cookies mixed into the snack bag she gave me on our next visit. This reminded me of symptoms I'd seen before when my grandma developed dementia. But Olivia is still in her 60s. Could she really be showing signs of dementia? I wasn't sure what to do. I wanted to talk to Scott about Olivia's overly salty food and the possibility that she might be showing signs of dementia, but I was too scared it might be too much for him. Then one day, something amazing happened. I found out I was pregnant. I'm finally going to be a dad. Is it a boy or a girl? Scott would ask, rubbing my belly every day with excitement. When should we tell our parents? Should we wait until the end of the first trimester? Scott asked. Well, the doctor has confirmed the heartbeat, but I want to wait until after the 7 weeks checkup to tell them. That way, they'll know everything's okay and they can help if anything happens, I replied. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I can't wait to tell everyone. I think my mom's going to cry when she hears the news, Scott said. You're right, I said, imagining Olivia congratulating me with tears in her eyes. It made me feel warm inside. I was so excited about the pregnancy that I forgot about everything else. But the following weekend, when I saw Olivia's chicken soup on the table, I realized there was a big problem. If I ate her overly seasoned food, it might affect my baby. The pregnancy books I'd been reading said that high blood pressure and diabetes could affect pregnancy and childbirth. Stale bread and expired foods might not hurt me, but they could harm my baby. The thought made me anxious, and I couldn't start eating. Oh no, Julie, you haven't eaten at all. I hope it wasn't too bad for your taste, Olivia said, noticing my untouched plate and frowning. No, it's not that, I stammered. Scott, thinking it was morning sickness, quickly jumped in to save me. She's just tired and doesn't have much of an appetite, he said. I see. Are you working too hard, Julie? Don't push yourself too much, Samuel added kindly, though Olivia's face stayed serious. I felt guilty for leaving the food and lying to them. After everyone finished their meal, Olivia offered me a large brownie with ice cream on top, along with a cup of tea. Have some sweets at least. I'm sure it will relax you, she said. Thank you so much, I replied, thinking how thoughtful she was. I planned to at least take a bite, but lately sweets gave me heartburn. I noticed Scott had taken a smaller piece without the ice cream. I whispered to Scott so Olivia wouldn't hear from the kitchen. Scott, can I switch with yours? Huh? Oh, sure, he said, passing me his plate. I cut a small piece with my fork. It was moist and soft. I took a bite and washed it down with tea. This brownie is a little hard, Scott said as he cut his in half and started to take a bite. Suddenly, Olivia burst out of the kitchen, shouting, No, no. Her sudden outburst made my heart skip a beat. Scott looked just as confused as I was when Olivia snatched the brownie from his hand. Why are you eating Julie's brownie? I gave it to her, Olivia said, sounding panicked. What does it matter who eats it? Scott asked, puzzled. It does matter. That one is expired, Olivia blurted out. The room fell silent. We were all stunned by her unexpected confession. That brownie was old, I asked, confused. I didn't notice because the ice cream was melting on top. My words didn't calm the situation. Instead, they made it clear that Olivia had deliberately tried to hide the fact that the brownie was stale by adding ice cream. Isn't that right, Mom? Scott asked Olivia, his voice calm but full of restrained anger. Olivia quickly tried to backtrack. No, that's not it. It's old, but it's big and still tasty, so I wanted Julie to have it. Then why did you stop me so forcefully from eating it? You gave it to Julie even though you knew it wasn't safe, Scott pressed. No way, I whispered as a chill ran down my spine. I started to realize what was happening. You've been giving me stale food and expired snacks on purpose, haven't you? I asked, my voice trembling. What's going on, honey? Samuel asked, glaring at Olivia. It wasn't on purpose, Olivia insisted, panic in her voice. I just had some leftovers and didn't want to waste them, so I gave them to Julie. That's exactly what on purpose means, Scott said coldly. I can't think of any good reason to make someone else eat bad food that you don't want. But she's not really family, Olivia blurted out. She's an outsider, so why not give her the old food, right? You join my family too, but you've never been treated like that, Scott shot back. Olivia started banging on the table in a panic. As I watched her, my heart sank. The Olivia I had loved so much seemed like a different person now. I was deeply disappointed and couldn't help but wonder if everything I believed about her being kind and nice was just an illusion. I felt even more disgusted now that I knew I had been betrayed. Olivia looked like a distressed demon, trying to make excuses. But something else was bothering me. Was all this just harmless? Or did you make all the food taste so strong on purpose? I asked. What? No, of course not, Olivia stammered. Samuel and Scott were shocked, their expressions tense. Olivia's face showed she knew she was caught. Scott grabbed my bowl of chicken soup. Don't, Scott, Olivia cried out, but Scott ignored her. He took a spoonful, then immediately spit it out. It's like seawater, Scott exclaimed. Samuel tried some from the side I hadn't touched and scolded. Julie, have you been eating this kind of food all along? Yes, I thought this was just how it tasted here since you and Scott ate it too, I replied. That's because ours was normal. I see, so that's what happened, Scott said, realizing what had been going on. His shoulders slumped as if all the strength had left him. How could you not realize? Was it more than just bad flavor? She's even given you expired snacks, Scott asked, worried. I thought she might have dementia, I admitted. Olivia's mouth twitched. For her, hearing that the daughter-in-law she hated so much actually thought she might have dementia and even felt sorry for her was a huge insult. Scott tried to comfort me, saying, You're so sweet, putting up with her because you thought she was sick. Then he turned to his mother. But you, Mom, I don't even want to think that you were bullying such a kind-hearted girl who trusted you. Samuel added, I never imagined Olivia could do something like this. That's why I talked to so many people about it. I was worried about Olivia's health, thinking her taste buds were off, or that she might have dementia, even though she's only in her 60s. You talked to many people? Olivia's expression quickly changed, realizing her actions had been exposed. Yes, my parents, my friends, people at work, they were all helpful. They gave me tips and pamphlets, I said, pulling them out of my bag and piling them on the table. I had been carrying them around, intending to talk to Samuel and Scott someday, but I never thought it would come in handy like this. Wow, you are really concerned about her, Samuel said, unfolding a pamphlet, clearly moved by my efforts. Olivia, on the other hand, was furious. You're terrible. I'm not sick, Olivia yelled. No, you're the one who's terrible, Scott shot back. Unlike you, she has a pure heart and was genuinely worried about you. Shut up. Shut up, Olivia screamed, her anger boiling over. I never liked her from the beginning. She pointed at me, her eyes filled with rage. My beloved son was taken away by a stupid woman like her. He didn't even notice my harassment. Who's the dumb one now? I wished for a beautiful and successful woman who would make me proud to be seen with in public. You're a fool not to see what an amazing woman Scott married. You've been blind to her true worth. What? Olivia stammered, unable to believe what she was hearing. In front of me, my in-laws were having a heated argument. It was clear now Olivia had always hated me, and even though I understood it logically, it still hurt to realize that someone I trusted had betrayed me. Later that night, as we lay in bed, Scott whispered, Why didn't you tell me before we got married? If I had known, I would have. Olivia's face lit up with hope, thinking Scott was on her side. I knew it, he's on my side, she thought. But Scott continued, If I had known, I would have cut ties. Ignoring Olivia's crushed expression, Scott held me tightly. I'm sorry, Julie. I didn't realize how much you were going through. I'm sorry too, I replied. I didn't see her true intentions. Olivia's eyes twitched. She never expected to hear such words from me, someone she had always looked down on. Scott looked at me and said, I married you because you're so pure. Don't worry, we'll never come here again. Wait, Olivia cried out. You can't do that. I'm your mother. I'll never let you keep my grandchild from me. Grandchild? Olivia finally noticed my belly. If she had paid attention earlier, maybe things would have been different. But she was too busy with her schemes. Let's go, Julie, Scott said, offering his hand. Yeah, I replied, taking his hand and standing up slowly. Wait, I'm sorry, Olivia pleaded, trying to grab Scott's arm. But Scott brushed her off. I'm not the one you should be apologizing to, he said firmly. Olivia looked at me, her eyes full of resentment. I didn't want to forgive someone who clearly harbored ill feelings toward me. Before she could say anything, I spoke. I trusted you, and you betrayed me. I can never trust you again. I won't let someone like you be around my precious child. Goodbye. No, Olivia cried, collapsing in anguish. We left without looking back, with Samuel watching us, knowing we would never return. It's sad to say, but if Olivia had valued our relationship, she could have enjoyed a happy life as a grandmother, surrounded by her grandchildren. What a fool she was. Later, when I told my parents and friends who had supported me, they said, "You finally realized." They were either shocked or relieved because, apparently, everyone but me knew I was being mistreated. They didn't tell me because they knew I was genuinely worried about Olivia. At least they listened and collected pamphlets to help me when I finally saw the truth. I felt so ashamed and embarrassed that my face turned red. But, thanks to all the materials and support everyone gave me, I was able to show how seriously concerned I had been. Because of this, Scott and Samuel were completely on my side. I realized once again how truly blessed I am to have such good people around me. 5 years later, I've been busy taking care of our little son. Today is his first birthday. I'm hard at work preparing a birthday cake, fried chicken, and other dishes I'm not used to making. Scott has been a great dad, playing with our son and changing his diaper. In the middle of all this, I got a call from Samuel. He was invited to the birthday party, so I picked up the phone without hesitation, thinking he might have a question. "Hello, Julie," a familiar voice said sweetly, trying to gauge my mood. It wasn't Samuel. Even after 5 years, I knew it was Olivia. After we cut ties, we moved to a new place far away from her and only told Samuel where we were. I also blocked Olivia's phone number and had my number erased from her phone. Thanks to Scott and Samuel protecting me, she couldn't visit me at the hospital when I gave birth, and I've been able to live a peaceful life since then. Now, just hearing her voice gives me goosebumps. "Where's Samuel?" I asked. "He's in the bathroom right now," she replied. "Hey, isn't it my grandson's birthday today?" I don't think Samuel told her, but she might have noticed him preparing a gift. Scott noticed something was wrong from my tone of voice. He gestured to take over the phone with a worried look, but I gave him a thumbs up and continued the call. I'm a mother now. The innocent, forgiving wife I used to be is in the past. "Listen, Julie," Olivia began. "I really feel bad about what happened. I was wrong to do those mean things. I regret it so much." "Huh?" I replied. "So, I want to see my grandson soon. I'll buy him lots of cute clothes and toys." "Well, I don't need you to hide needles in or bug the toys, so no thank you. I wouldn't do such a horrible thing. You fed me all that disgusting stuff." "You're exaggerating. It wasn't that bad, was it? Too much salt, sugar, and mold. Too much of any of it could have ruined my health. But I mean it, I really regret what I did. I'm sure you're kind enough to understand." "You're right," I said. "People often say I'm kind." "Yes, you are," they say. "But it's not that I'm kind. I'm just naive and trust people too easily. If someone betrays me, I can never trust them again. So, Olivia, you'll never regain my trust, and I won't forgive you. I'll never let you see my precious son." "Wait, Julie." Olivia's voice was desperate, but I heard Samuel and Olivia arguing in the background. I quietly pressed the end button. "Sorry about that," I said. Scott sighed in relief, placing his hands on my shoulders. "You're getting stronger, Julie." "Of course," I replied. "I'm his mother." Our son lay content in his crib. When he saw me, he flapped his hands happily. I picked him up and rubbed my cheek against his. His small, soft body and the faint scent of milk from his mouth filled me with a deep, protective love. I realized that for my son, I could be as gentle as an angel or as fierce as a demon. I'm no longer just the gentle, naive wife I used to be. "Oh, it smells so good," Scott said as the birthday cake baked in the oven. Our son cooed happily, and we both smiled broadly. There was a time when I was oblivious to the malice of others, carefree and happy. But that was because I was surrounded by people who protected me. Now, it's my turn to protect my family. I'm determined to grow stronger and stronger so that these happy days will continue for a long time.